Trial that's being held in connection with the disappearance of little Joshlin Smith is currently underway at Saldanha on the west coast. All three accused in the case of missing Joshlin Smith have pleaded not guilty to all the charges they are facing in connection with her disappearance. A police officer who helped search for her shortly after she went missing says her mother, Kelly Smith, did not appear concerned about her child's disappearance when she reported her missing. The officer was the first witness called to testify in the case. Authorities only allowed 200 people to attend the first day of court proceedings.
We feel bad because I'm also a parent and a grandparent, so yeah.
You know, what we like to see is to know if she's still alive, and that justice must be served. That's the most important, since she's a baby of the soil. She's coming from here, and we are all here. It's still a mystery for us, but at the end of the day, it's all about Joshlin. It's not political, it's about Joshlin. And we are here as a community.
A second witness, another police officer, was called to the stand to testify on the second day. 7-year-old Joshlin Smith went missing a year ago. The officer recounted the events of the 19th of February when the child went missing. He says they received a call from radio control to say a child was missing in the Middelpos Informal Settlement. He testified that Joshlin's mother, Kelly Smith, who was standing on the roadside, stopped them and said her child had disappeared. During his testimony, the second police officer said Joshlin's mother, Kelly Smith, gave them contradictory versions about when she was last seen during their initial search in the Middelpos Informal Settlement after she went missing. The state alleges that Joshlin was kidnapped and trafficked. The officer says Joshlin's mother was more concerned about seeing her boyfriend than she was about finding her child during the search.
One of the things he collaborated is that when they met with Kelly, she looked calm. She didn't look like someone who's hysterical. She was not hysterical, like someone who's just lost a child. They went around searching for the child. Later on, they met during the search during the night. They met with Kelly's boyfriend, Buddha. And one thing he said was that she was almost in tears, very happy to see her boyfriend.
Residents in Saldanha say Joshlin's disappearance has left a big hole in their hearts.
It's a very painful situation, man, because us as parents, we really feel pain from our heart, seeing that the child has been lost, and it's been our cry from our hearts that we wish actually they could find the child, because it's been a very long time now. And from the point of perspective of the parent, really, it's a deep heart sore.
We as a community feel very grateful about this case, and it's an eye-opener for all of us all over the country, and especially in the West Coast, about child kidnapping, and it's a stigma that must go away at the end of the day.
On day 3, the Circuit High Court heard Joshlin Smith's mother, Kelly's statement regarding the last time she saw her child. It was read into the record during the trial. According to the statement, Kelly says the last time she saw Joshlin was when she was playing outside their home on the afternoon on the 19th of February last year. In her plea explanation, Kelly Smith says her boyfriend, Jacquen Appollis, was present at their home when she last saw Joshlin there. Smith, Appollis and a third co-accused, Steveno van Rhyn, have pleaded not guilty to charges of kidnapping and trafficking which they are facing in connection with Joshlin's disappearance. The plea explanation was read out by her legal counsel.
Just after 12 o'clock midday, I borrowed 50 rand from Colin, which I had used to buy drugs. I went to my home and smoked the drugs with accused one. I noticed that both the children were still at home at that time. After smoking, I then proceeded back to work, which was at approximately 1 o'clock.
Smith says she frantically searched for little Joshlin after she realized she was missing.
When I got home, accused number 1 and accused number 2 were present. I inquired from him or them as to the whereabouts of the children, and they responded by saying that Redfern was by his godfather and that Joshlin was playing around. I then inquired from the neighbor, Maputi, if she had seen Joshlin, and she said that the kids went to play at the park.
The state says Smith's version of events presented in the plea explanation are not consistent with her initial statement when she reported Joshlin's disappearance.
There was a mention that when Kelly arrived, she asked for where the child was, and she was told that the Rhyns, a lady they were smoking deck with, had sent the child to go look, to check on her own child, right, who was sleeping at a house nearby. But in his statement, he does not mention that the Rhyns was there. I mean, the Rhyns asked the child. She also mentions that Rhyns was there earlier in the morning and they smoked. In the testimony of the police officers, it's not there.
On day 4, an in loco inspection was conducted at the Middelpos Informal Settlement at Saldanha on the west coast, where Joshlin Smith went missing in February last year. The in loco inspection was part of court proceedings in the trial that's currently underway in Saldanha regarding her disappearance. During the in loco inspection, court officials visited the house that Joshlin was last seen at in the Middelpos Informal Settlement. The state and defense had an opportunity to inspect the scene and gather more information. The defense also took instruction from their clients who were also present. Several other dwellings that were of interest were also pointed out. During court proceedings, the station commander of Saldanha Police Station gave evidence. He described the comprehensive search operation that was conducted during the first few weeks after the child went missing, comprising of hundreds of law enforcement officials from various agencies who searched for Joshlin but were unable to find any trace of her. He also described one of the interactions he had with Joshlin's mother, Kelly Smith, shortly after the little girl disappeared.
She was acting like it's normal for her that the child is not there. What worried me is when she indicated that the child has made her famous.
She said the child has made her famous.
She said in her own words, my child Joshlin has made me famous.
Sibola also stated that when Kelly was offered alternative accommodation during the search for Joshlin, she insisted that there should also be accommodation for her boyfriend, Jacquen Appollis, but she was not too concerned about her other 2 children.
There was accommodation available for her to go where? In Vredenburg. She didn't like that accommodation because that accommodation was only going to accommodate her. And it wasn't going to accommodate the boyfriend as well because the accommodation was only for females.
On day 5, the initial investigating officer who was assigned to investigate the case of missing Joshlin Smith at Saldanha on the west coast said her mother, Kelly Smith, did not show any emotions during several interactions they had after Joshlin went missing.
Respect of the
He says
public, I would
Kelly
argue,
Smith and her
counsel,
boyfriend,
it was a
Jacquen
request
Appollis,
from the court
also did
orderlies
not
that the
participate
matter
in
be
search
called
operations
in the
that were
format
conducted
so
to
that
find Joshlin. During his testimony, the investigating officer, Sergeant Meyer Milstein, said Joshlin's mother, Kelly Smith, told him that Joshlin did not go to school on the day she went missing because she was sick. He testified that there were various inconsistencies in the statements of the three accused regarding the last time they saw her. He also said Joshlin's mother, Kelly Smith, was relatively calm when she reported Joshlin missing.
As he continued with his testimony, he indicated that Kelly appeared calm, did not show any emotion, which is something that has been said before. She never cried, and she was not actively involved in the searches, all three of them. In fact, were not even actively involved in the searches during that period where everyone was still looking for the child.
Dozens of witnesses are expected to testify during the trial, which will be running for the next few weeks in Saldanha. And family, friends, and loved ones are hoping that the court proceedings will be able to shed light on little Joshlin's disappearance. Corbin August, SABC News, Saldanha on the West Coast.